I will write something up and run it by you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Member Schmidt.
Just Member LaHood, I would suggest with attorney-client privilege, just because it's something I know a little bit about. It's sort of a weirdly complicated issue, and there's a lot of kind of nuances that one way I think to get some traction on that is if you could think of like maybe a handful of specific applications of it, and that way you might be able to kind of get a sense of, okay, you put that into the machine and this is how the attorney-client privilege churns it out, and then you see how it works, and then you learn how to use it. So that's maybe a suggestion to you.
That's helpful. Thank you.
We also have the complication of Grossman versus St. Croix, which is case law, specifically about attorney-client privilege with a specific person, not necessarily in general. But that also needs to be somewhat deconstructed with regards to this, because the ordinance as it stands disallows it. So, I mean, this has been a long-standing issue we've had, and I don't know. Yeah, it does demand a wider discussion about it. Don't know if we'll come to any conclusions, but it's worth, again, to revisit it because it's still undecided. Okay. Anything else, members? Okay. Public comment.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, just a moment, Mr. Warfield.
Thank you.
You ready?
Tell me when.
Go ahead.
Peter Warfield, Executive Director, Library Users Association, Library Users 2004 at yahoo.com, and P.O. Box 170544, San Francisco, California 94117-0544. First of all, thank you very much for these future items to be discussed. I think they're all extremely important, although I'm not entirely sure what Member Stein meant by complainants and their presence. I don't know if that means what the software is that you're going to use for remote meetings or what. I'm not really clear on that, and I would certainly appreciate if there might be some clarification. The previous, on the previous item, an anonymous speaker talked about privacy and the giving up of privacy in order to simply attend public meetings. This person was very spot on with respect to the costs and the risks and the problems. And frankly, I think the unacceptable cost of basically being constantly data mined if you want to attend a public meeting. I think that's a form of a charge, which is forbidden under Sunshine as a prerequisite for attending a meeting. So I think that's extremely important. In Library Users Association, we've been certainly busy with, over quite a few years, with respect to RFID at libraries. And so privacy is certainly something that we're concerned with. I wanted to say something again about next request and what the task force's position on it is, which I think it should be very critical and have a hearing and absolutely publicity about what is it, how does it work, and so on. As an example, when I send something to...
I'm sorry. I am going to interrupt you because it's not pertinent to anything that was discussed.
It's a future.
Yeah, you're treating this as general public comment, and it's not. It's to be comment on the items that were discussed.
I think it's a comment on the agenda item, and the agenda item is what you might
take
up in future.
We did not discuss any future items by the members of the task force with regards to next request or privacy issues.
I think you have found that if there's an item on the agenda, it's the item that people can comment on, including if the members of the body haven't commented
No,
in the
that
way
is
that
not,
somebody.
that is not what this item is for or about. It's not another general public comment.
I'm not saying
I-
general public comment. I'm saying what I think
I
that has
hear,
been left out so far.
but if you read the item, it says by members of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force. We did
And my
not discuss future agenda items. We did not discuss privacy.
I thought
So
you were
I
discussing
will allow you to have an additional 3 minutes, additional 1.5 minutes on to address any of the items that was discussed by members in this item. Otherwise, we'll move to the next speaker.
Tell me when to start.
Go ahead.
The item, as I understand it, is future agenda items that the task force members would like to see taken up.
No,
I thought I
it
heard
is
people
not.
think-
You are using this
Can
as
you tell me
a
what
way
attorney-client
to,
privilege was? What was attorney-client privilege?
right, attorney-client privilege was discussed. Correct.
Yeah, but what was it discussed in relation to?
If you want to comment on what was said by a task force member about, for instance, attorney-client privilege, then free to do that.
Well, I
But-
said that I think it's very valuable as something that everybody would benefit from learning about and understanding better. My understanding is the agenda item includes future agenda items that people want to see on a future agenda. That's what I understood.
I
And
still-
so in the past, there have been agenda items that included, for example, a report that didn't include certain items, and it was considered a legitimate comment to comment, like in a book report, if you had a history of something and they left some important items out, that you could comment on what was left out as a flaw or as something that could be improved. That's what I think you have previously had as decisions, and that's what I was saying, that next request is a kind of complexification that I think needs to be looked into as something that the city apparently is taking as a way to respond to people. So I think that's my 3 minutes according to your calculation. So thank you very much.
Next speaker. Last call for public comment. Okay, hearing none. Any last thoughts, members? Okay, let's move to the next item.
Item number 12, adjournment.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
This is Vice Chair Yankee. I'll move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I will second it. This is Member Padmanabhan.
Okay, moved by Vice Chair Yankee, second by Member Padmanabhan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned.
Bruce, I have 10:16.
You are correct.
Let me stop the recording.
Good night.
Night, everybody.
Night all.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging in there.